Alrighty friends, hello, here I am, welcome. Hopefully I'm in the Bright Light Client, no. Hopefully I'm in the Bright Light Beings group, not the Bright Light Client Attraction portal, that's a different place. Hopefully I'm here with you guys, half an hour chat with Matt. Just trying to gather myself together, quickly looking through some of the excellent questions that have been posed in the little hey Sister Georgie, in the notification post I put on last night. And here we are, it is the 5th of January 2022 here in New Zealand, 9 AM on a Wednesday morning, my time for Chat with Matt. What do you guys want to know about? I'm here to answer any questions, talk to any requests, and generally create an energy, a vibration, a space, an intent for transformation to occur, empowered transformation to occur, not just me fixing you, that's BS, it doesn't really work, but for a beautiful space where you can direct yourself through the process of transformation, and you being the bigger you, not just you, the little personality. Hey, Sister Jane. So here we are, it's a new moon. It's a new moon, it's a new year, and we also had the new moon less than 3 days ago. It was just 2 days ago. Is that right? Yeah, just 2 days and a couple of hours. So that's exciting, right? Happy New Year, Sheena. But exciting, but not always easy. Quite often January's choppy to, hey Susie, it's quite often January's are very choppy, and this year will be no exception. I don't believe this year January is going to be very fulfilling, very satisfying, I think is the right word. Right, we all come through New Year's Eve setting resolutions. We've started a new year. There's a new number on the end of our date. Hey, Sister Jill. And we are excited that we're out of the old and into the new. But unfortunately, the energy doesn't just change, it doesn't just flip on a dime. There is a transitional period that is occurring, and while there's new beginning energies sort of flourishing around us, and people are very intent on beginning things new, starting a fresh perspective, setting new habits, etc., 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 what tends to happen is that triggers, right, this desire to move into the new triggers all of the old that resists that to arise to the surface with a degree of intensity, right? Because we're basically detoxifying. This is the process, and I think this is it kind of leads into Zena's question as well, and it's something that we talk about a lot. To be honest, the fact that when you set your intentions on moving into a new state of being, you tend to trigger or expose, if you like, all that prevents you from getting there. So use this as an analogy. This is a good analogy because lots of people might be trying to do this, right? So you've decided to cut out something from your diet that doesn't serve you. Let's just say it's sugar, for want of a better thing. Sorry for those of you who represent the sugar industry. I've got to pick something that's going to upset someone, right? Say you're just choosing to cut out sugar out of your diet, right? Processed sugar out of your diet. You fully believe, you've done the research, you realize that processed sugar in your diet is not good for you. Therefore, when you cut it out, you should start feeling better, right? No, you don't. You cut it out and you feel like shit. I don't know how many of you have tried this, but this is the point, right? When we detoxify from anything, even if, let's just take methamphetamine as another example, right? We know that that's not good for you. You're taking it, right? And you decide to stop. Do you feel good when you stop? No, you feel terrible. Why? Because your body goes into detoxification. This is the same on the energetic state. So you say you have got a problem with self-criticism, right? You're always criticizing yourself. You're of so low self-worth. You make a strong resolution that you're going to stop criticizing yourself. You're going to improve your mental self-talk as you move into the new year. Do you feel good at first? No. No, you don't. No, you don't. You feel like you're being attacked. You feel like all of the reasons for the negative self-talk are coming up with more intensity to prove that they are right and you are wrong and you're not worthy at all. This is normal. This is normal. Hey, Sister Jill, a week of headaches. Yeah, I've had a few headaches this week too. Not just physical challenges, but actually or external challenges, but actually physical headaches. Again, it's part of the detoxification. So we're changing, we're changing gears. We're holding intent that we're letting go of a lot of challenges, a lot of frustrations, a lot of anger, a lot of not free that we've been experiencing in the last 2 years. And yet that's what we're feeling. Many of us are feeling, as Sister Zena pointed out, we're feeling lethargic and unmotivated. We're not feeling free to be ourselves at all. We're feeling down, right? We're feeling that I've lost my mojo. And even though it's a new year and I should be excited, I just can't be bothered and I don't want to try. And all of these different narratives might be popping up in your head, right, around why. So you start creating. This is the thing. This is how our ego keeps sabotaging us, our intellect, right? We feel something and we can't just accept that we're feeling it. We want to know why. So then we start trying to create a narrative to justify why we're feeling this way. The problem is once we justify the way that we're feeling, even if it's complete bullshit, but it makes sense to our intellect, right? So we've believed now a story, or we're at least entertaining the idea, oh, I don't feel motivated because I'm taking on all of society's stuff, or, you know, whatever it is, you've now created a reason to justify feeling the way that you're feeling, rather than just allowing it to be what it is for now, trusting that it will soon move on. Once you give it a reason for being, it can't move on so easily until you have fixed the reason, right? So if you believe you're not feeling great because potentially you have a horrible disease, now you can't feel better until you work out whether you do or don't have the disease, right? Or if you do have the disease in your mind, at least you now have to cure the disease before you can feel better. This is how it works. Our beliefs, just mosquitoes flying by. Our beliefs are very powerful. Our beliefs are very powerful. You say, oh yeah, but they're not that powerful because, you know, I can just believe that I can fly and then jump off the top of a building and I won't. You honestly don't believe that you can fly, right? Because you've got so much history that proves that that belief isn't true. But other beliefs don't have so much history behind it. Hey, Sister Diane. Die. Anywho. So I will answer Zena's question now after sort of giving some background information about how we are how we're going through a purification process, and it's not wrong. This is the point, and we don't need to justify it. That's another big point, and we just need to keep out, and this is what I talked about in the New Moon call 2 days ago. Hey, Brother Glenn, we just need to keep, what's going to serve us is to keep our attention on where we are going, right? And at the same time, hold space for what we are experiencing. I know this is hard because they're usually at odds, because our attention on our intention is actually triggering or exposing what we are now feeling, and it's usually the opposite. So if we're intending to move into, I'll use an example I've already used, a state of self-confidence and self-worth, so we no longer criticize ourselves, then generally the self-doubts and the self-criticisms will come up even more strongly. So you're focusing, you're attempting to maintain your focus, your attention on the belief that I am worthy. I am worthy in myself. I have authentic self-confidence. I am, you know, good. I'm beyond this not good enough mentality that I've held for so long. What generally will happen, where you will stimulate, trigger, and intensify all of the BS that you've been carrying around from the past. And it'll seem like you're being attacked. It'll seem like you are failing. It'll seem like you're going backwards, right? But you're not. You're actually exposing what needs to release, and that is a normal part of progress, right? That's the normal part of the process, is that when you choose to move into something, you're going to experience the opposite as it is exposed, as it comes up to basically protest. That gives you the opportunity to see it, but not focus on it, right? Because what you focus on, you feed, and what you feed will grow stronger. So if you keep focusing on where you are going, self-confidence, self-worth, then the protest will lose its effect. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is we start focused on where we're going, the protest comes into our space, and we start focusing on that. We start trying to make it wrong. We start trying to argue with it, No, I'm not. I'm not, I'm choosing the opposite. Why is this coming up? And then you start justifying it mentally. You start asking other people for help. You start doing all sorts of things to try and fix the feeling that you're feeling, right? Which doesn't need fixing at all. It just needs accepting, because it's an old energy that's been in your field for a long time. It just needs a loving space to be held while it arises and then loses its importance. It loses its relevance in your field because you are now focused on something else. It will try for a while, right? It'll keep going at you, inspiring these self-doubts. But over time, as you maintain your focus and really start not just wanting to be confident in yourself, but aligning with confidence, acting as if you are confident, acting as if you are worthy, aligning your actions with your intentions. As you keep doing that, despite the fact that you're feeling all of this uncertainty, all of this self-doubt, all of this mental criticism might be coming up in your mind, as you just keep stepping past that. You keep ignoring it. You're not suppressing it. So there's a difference between ignoring it, like recognizing it, and then ignoring it. So you recognize it for what it is, energies from the past coming up to release, and then you act in alignment with what you are choosing, despite the fact you are... Yeah, awesome, Zena. I am halfway through answering or talking to your question. So rather than allowing the vibrations that are rising to release to start inspiring you to act in that way, right, which is usually to fight against them, which still strengthens them. You know, what we fight against, we feed. Fighting is an intense form of focus. So this is why activism mentality doesn't work so well, because we're focusing on what we're trying to get rid of and we never get rid of it. It becomes our purpose now to fight against what we don't want in our field, you know, what we're trying to heal from. A lot of people get very stuck in their healing journey because they've made healing their purpose, right? And if it's your purpose, then you will keep having the opportunity to do your purpose, which is to heal, which will mean you will always have an illness to heal from, right? So we don't want to make healing our purpose. We want to make health our purpose. Right? And there's a difference. Healing is a process of overcoming illness. Health is the state of being on the other side. We make health in all forms our purpose, right? And not to focus on what we think we need to do in order to get there. We don't know what we need to do to get there. Our little intellectual mind is not capable, does not have nearly the resource to work out how we're going to get there. We leave that to God. We leave that to a divinity. We leave that to our own higher self. We leave that to much bigger aspects of ourselves. Our job as the personality is just to keep focused on where we're going and to hold space for going through the process without getting disheartened, dismayed, railroaded by the experience of the healing, of the release, right? I just keep saying to myself, what I'm feeling is what I'm releasing. That helps me to relax and not get stressed by feeling that things are going wrong, the feeling that what I'm trying to overcome is being intensified. I'm going to talk to your point in a minute, Jill, because it's interesting and similar. So anyway, so basically what's going on, Zena, to answer your question now, is the unmotivation that we're feeling, the fatigue that we're feeling is a reflection of what we are releasing. So as we move into this year, as we've been moving forward consistently for the last reasonably long time, our vibration is rising and rising and rising. And what is happening as our vibration raises, and we've just moved into a new year, which is a new beginning and it's an excitement. So there's a little spike in energy, vibration coming in, and we've felt it too, right? There's a new optimism that's come in with this new moon and with this new year. It actually started coming around the full moon of December 19, right? A new sort of level of optimism has arisen on the planet, which is exciting, but it's also triggering a lot of older energies to come to the surface to release. So as this is happening, we're feeling a lot of fatigue. Yes, we are picking up stuff from the collective around us, but more importantly, we're triggering old energies within us, old, lower density energies that are coming to the surface to be released now. So don't get too caught up in trying to overcome the fatigue. Don't get too caught up in allowing the fatigue to become wrong, because it's just a necessary part of the process. Now, that doesn't mean we just need to succumb to fatigue and do nothing, right? You can still do what you know to do to shift energy. So for me, I've been, walking up my hill quite regularly. I've done it sort of 3 days in a row, did it a few days before that as well. So, I'm doing some degrees of exercise, and at the same time, I'm also, getting out into the garden. I picked a bucket full of apricots yesterday and processing those, getting them, putting them through the dehydrator and whatnot. Just spending time that is nurturing ourselves while we are feeling fatigued. Definitely don't make yourself wrong for not feeling productive. I think, and the week between Christmas and New Year is a terribly unproductive week in general, collectively. It is one of those weeks that is kind of lost. It's a lost week in the year of productivity. And I think we just relax into that and allow it to be what it is. For me personally, it really helps to focus my intent on my beingness rather than my doingness. My self-worth is dependent on my being rather than my doing. That allows me, as best I can, right? This is still an ongoing process, but it allows me to be okay with doing very little and still not feeling like I am letting anything down or not living up to what I should be, that I'm failing, right? Because a lot of us feel failure energy when we're not being productive. We've been trained into this through a long period of time. Oh, awesome, Sister Sheena. I am seeing other comments fly through, and I will get back to them in a minute. Awesome. I love that you're feeling more positive, and I'm glad that this is resonating. Yeah, and we will all reach our goals. We just need to maintain our attention on where we're going and be an allowance for whatever needs to shift in the meantime. And if that means being fatigued for a period of time, then it's a valid price to pay, right? To go through the discomfort and the mental discomfort and the physical discomfort of feeling fatigued and not productive is just part of the process of releasing the energies that are holding us back from really attaining what we're choosing to align with, what we're choosing as our big outcome energetically and potentially physically, materially. What are our outcomes for this year? And many of us are holding intent for freedom and community and having beyond what we've ever had before on this planet in our living lifetime in terms of connection with each other, right? And a deeper connection. A lot of us have seen how toxic our society has become with various consumer pressures, right? Corporatization of our world, treating everything and everyone like a commodity. Many of us have seen that is very, very obvious and very, very toxic. And many of us are choosing to step beyond that. And this whole situation that's blowing up, and how toxic our structures are, our governance structures are, and how manipulated and whatever the word is, broken they are. The energy here has been interesting. My home was struck by lightning on Christmas Day at 5 p.m. Oh, that's interesting. That goes very well with another question. Felt like it culminated in a pent-up energies, quite symbolic. Yeah. Awesome. Getting hit by lightning is an awesome jolt into releasing what doesn't serve you. So, a few things blew up. Interesting, because that's exactly what Jill's been going through as well, with things blowing up. So, which I'm going to talk about as well. Power, this idea of power. I need to probably giddy up. But yes, hopefully that's helping though. Zena, I don't really know about the Isle of Man. It's an interesting photo. I thought at first that looked like perpetual running, but then I noticed that the guys, it's in armor and with a spur, so it's a knight on a horse, so maybe not perpetually running, but interesting. It is actually it's like the swastika, so it's harvesting energy. The proper swastika, which is a very old Sanskrit symbol before the Nazis railroaded it. Anyway, awesome. Susan also wrote, same, dishwasher and steam oven stopped working at the same time. I think I think a lot of this stuff blowing up is indicative that we are all upgrading our power, and our appliances are falling behind, and potentially our houses are falling behind. This is what I was going to talk about with Jill. So Jill said, got heaps of issues about power, all aspects of it, including physical power. Hence, I've twice tapped into my home's, and I'm interested about this idea of tapped into my home's main supply and fused out my tumble dryer on Christmas Eve, then telly on New Year's Eve. I picked up an angel card and it says power. Look at the word in a search puzzle and get power first. I listened to a 2-hour video about world situation which ends with the speaker saying we all have the power because it's built into us. Therefore, we have no fear because we have the power. I am so confused right now as I know I have power, but I still keep pulling it out of my house. What to do? I'm confused as to why you feel that you're pulling it out of your house, Jill. I would say that your power, your personal power, is influencing your house, and your house is trying to upgrade. I don't know why you think you're energetically tapped into your house. I think your house, potentially, you've outgrown your house. You know that. That's why you're moving. So your house is basically representing the fact that it can't house your energy. You're not pulling it from the house. Your energy is what's pushing it through the house, right? The fact that you are channeling energy in and out, which is a great thing, but your house isn't fit for purpose anymore, right? Your house can't handle the energy that you be, and thus you're blowing fuses in your house, right? I don't think you're pulling it out of your house. I think it's going in the other direction. I don't know if someone else is better than me, then maybe that's their take on it. But from where I'm sitting, that's the truth I feel. I wouldn't buy into what anyone says, including me, right? Feel into your own heart, but I don't see in your field right now that you are pulling the energy out of your house. I don't think there's any need for that. You definitely have outgrown your house. That's why you sold it, and that's why you're moving on. So yeah, I'm just going to flick back through the comments here. Hey, Sister Mary, I didn't see that you popped on because I know I missed a couple earlier. Yeah, I got Zena's. I got Sheena's. Susie was commenting about how hot it is in Auckland, 30 degrees. Yeah, so Jill said it's hard to focus. It's hard not to focus on power. You don't have to not focus on power, because power is not a problem, right? Your power is where you're going. So focus on your power, but maybe focus on choosing to harmonize your house, right, with your power. And don't make it a problem that you're fusing out your house. You're moving anyway, right? I know you still have to keep fixing it. You don't need to fix the telly. That can go. You don't need a telly. So fusing that out's a good thing. And I know you had to fix the tumble dryer, etc., because you'd sold the house. But did I miss one earlier than that? Okay. I think I'm up to date with the comments. Sheena wrote, I had an experience where many appliances stopped working for a year. Then I settled down and things started working again. I agree with Matt. I had a personal energy upgrade. Yeah, you know, we do it all the time as well. It's very I know I have to be very careful with what when I'm in a high energy state. I have to be careful what I touch, because it's very easy to blow things up. Very easy to blow up electronic device, very easy to blow light bulbs, very, very easy. For me, I just keep reminding myself or holding an intent that my energy is harmonized with my surroundings. So as I'm pulling energy through and upgrading myself, I just keep remembering as best that I can, right, that my energy is harmonized with my surroundings, and I trust that my team can manage that, because if I get too caught up in the high vibrational state that I'm in, it's very easy to break things electronically, computers, phones, etc., etc. So light bulbs are a especially good one. Walk in, touch the light bulb, bang, it's gone. It's like, okay. So these aren't problems. these aren't issues. We're not failing when we do this, and it's not the universe punishing us. A lot of people think, oh, what did I do wrong? I've just broke, I know it costs money to fix things, but at the end of the day, what the fuck's money anyway? I know many of us have got a disempowered relationship with it because we've had to sacrifice ourselves so much to try and earn it, doing jobs that we don't like. Thankfully, I've got out of that stage now, so I'm not so contracted around it. But I know what it's like to be in that state because I was for a long time, right? That money sort of has this power over you because you're doing something you don't like to get it. And then when something breaks due to you going through a process of upgrading, it seems, unfair. I'm doing all this work to upgrade my energy and now I've just broken the telly and the kids aren't happy about that. So I need to get a new telly and that's just cost me $300 and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I worked hard to get that. Money just flows, right? Money is just energy. Don't get too consumed around this idea that it's a limited resource, right? We've got to get out of lack mentality, just like the energy that we're transmitting, just like the energy that we're being. I know we go through periods of fatigue, ironically, while our power is being upgraded, right? We've been struck by lightning. We are, coming into our own as in personal power terms. And yet we feel fatigued because we're feeling what we're releasing. We're flushing out all of the resistance out of our field. And so we're experiencing what we are not, right? And that's the irony of this human form is, especially during this period of real purification, we experience more of what we are not than experiencing what we are. And that's difficult. It's hard for us to maintain comfort through that. It's hard for us to reconcile this experience that I'm putting all of my effort into aligning with this expansive being of light and love, and yet I'm feeling so shitty, right? And yet I'm feeling so shitty. It obviously seems like I'm failing or I'm being punished, but it's not the truth. I'm just going through a process of purification. Yeah, I've got doing that to light bulb too. I've got someone to do an energy survey on my house in 7 days. I don't know what will be working by then. Yeah, interesting what an energy survey actually is. Is that like a very physical thing where they're looking at how much electricity you're using, etc., to try and work with lack mentality into not using so much electricity. Anyway, unfortunately, a lot of the climate agenda has us all in lack mentality. It's a legal requirement, wow, for selling the house, so the new owners know what to fix, etc., etc. Yeah, and I'm as big a environmentalist as there ever has been, but yeah, there's a lot of manipulation going on with the climate change agenda and the lack mentality that it's fostering, as opposed to actually tackling the real questions of getting pollution and increasing biodiversity, getting rid of pollution and increasing biodiversity, right, which is the real issues that we're facing, not the use of carbon. Anywho, so we're actually raping the country, the planet right now in order to meet our carbon reduction agendas, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's, it's unfortunate that yet again, controlled opposition has sort of come in and railroaded the true agenda. We've seen it with so many other things, like with race relations, etc., etc., that things get railroaded. Anywho's, look at how it's been railroaded with health, right? And instead of improving the health, we're now completely focused on a medical intervention that's supposed to stop us getting sick, as opposed to completely disempowered now at the hands of needing to keep getting a medical intervention to maintain your health, as opposed to actually taking empowered action to improve your diet, improve your mentality, your stress state, etc., your living conditions, so that you become more healthy. It's insidious, but this is how we're okay. Jill said, yeah, the purchasers already know the energy's up the creek, but I have to pay $120 or pounds for a piece of paper spelling it out. Yeah. Red tape and bureaucracy, that's what we're living in. And that's, you know, this is a lot of what is, and people look at it and say, well, that's a good thing, you know, but this, the way that it's being implemented, you know, in old school authoritarian ways, there's a lot that has to change on this planet with the way that we are managing, governing ourselves. So, anywho, Susie wrote, yes, feels like wading through mud at the moment in terms of getting things done. Yeah, so allow yourself not to get things done. I think that's important. Yeah. And, you know, I don't think any of the red tape is going to overly influence Jill in moving forward into the new location that you're going. You're just going to have to put up with, Jill, a lot of stuff being out of alignment while you are still living in a place that you have already removed yourself from energetically. That's just part and parcel of the transformational process. And you are basically transforming, you know, transitioning to a new locale, a new house after spending a long time in that one. That's a big transformational process energetically and mirrored in the external. So it's uncomfortable. There's going to be a lot of discomfort around your present situation and the frustration of not being in your new. So you're sort of held back now. And the whole process of going through moving is such a drag and pretty normal. It's just one of those things. It's very representative of the upgrade that many of us are going through, right? We're already energetically aligning with a crystalline body, for example, and yet we're still living predominantly in a carbon body. This is, you know, what we're going through, and many things are fusing out in our homes, right, in our physical bodies. Like for me, I've just had shooting pains running out down my left upper back and shoulder and up into my neck, right? This happened, you know, just before Christmas as well, then went away and now has come back. It's not a physical problem. I don't need to go and see a doctor. There's nothing that needs fixing here. This is energy shifting. This is upgrades occurring that are uncomfortable. So these upgrades that are occurring are uncomfortable. The house gets hit by lightning, upgrading things. It seems like it's a bad thing because things break, but things have to break in order for things to grow and expand, you know. You know, I've been talking in our group about disintegration. A lot has to disintegrate so that it has space, so that we have space to reintegrate. We have to disintegrate things out of our field, right? Pull them out of our field so they're no longer integrated within us because they don't belong there. They've been integrated out of habit, really, but they're belief systems that don't serve us anymore. And we can't really let go of something that we can't recognize as separate from us. So there's this disintegration occurring. Stuff is becoming obviously separate from us so that we can allow them to go and then reintegrate in a way that is much more in alignment with the truth of who we be. This is the process, but it's not a comfortable one. And it's not an easy one to understand. So it's uncomfortable physically, it's uncomfortably emotionally, it's uncomfortable mentally as well, as we struggle to understand what's going on. And our little minds are concocting all sorts of narratives to try and justify the experience that we're going through. And that is not helpful, but it's very difficult to expand out of. We can't stop the mind doing it, but we can limit how much energy we give to these narratives, right? Like the narrative that you're tapping into your house. That's a narrative that someone offered you and you bought it because it helped to explain why, you know, the fucking tumble dryer had blown and then something else had happened, right? It helped just mentally justify it, but ultimately that belief is not serving you. So it's much better if we can stay out of the belief systems, and this goes for everything, whether it's happening in the external or whether it's happening internally, right? Whether it's our emotional states arising, you know, like, you know, I'm feeling really shitty, I'm feeling really low energy, I'm feeling really, for me, you know, I've been on the verge of mental breakdown, right? Nervous breakdown twice in the last 3 weeks. And very uncomfortable, very unsettling experiences, but I don't need to create a story around that. The more that I can stay in a space and just accept that it's part of my upgrading, the better off I am, right? Very, very energetically sensitive, very, very hair trigger with what I'm releasing. So it's a good thing. Maybe your house is sad. Today is the anniversary of losing Blackie, your pussycat, a year ago. I know his energy is waiting for me at your new place down in Cornwall. Mice are running havoc in the house too because Blackie isn't here to keep them away. Yeah, so yeah, but again, narratives. So just be careful with narratives, having to find reasons why things are the way they are, and just trust that things are the way they are because they're in a process of transformation, and what you are experiencing is what you are releasing. The mice are running havoc because the plague is being released, right? Overrun by rodents, pests, etc. But still, you have to do something about it. But the point is not to get caught up in too many narratives to justify it. Just allow yourself, all of us, right? Just allow ourselves to come to the space where we get clear, where we relax into a space where we can get clear guidance as what to do right now, without having to justify it, without having to try and have a long planned mental story about this is what's happening, so therefore I need to do this and fix this and do this. It's just like, I don't know why this is happening, what's the best thing I can do? Right? That's simple. That's all we need to do. I don't know why this is happening. That's not a dangerous place to be. For some reason, we've been trained to believe that if we don't understand something, that we're in a lot more danger than if we do understand it. So, just relax and trust. I don't understand why this is happening, but I trust my intuition is going to tell me what to do right now. Right? The more that we can be there, the better. That's a much more powerful place to be. Truly, much more powerful place to be than thinking we understand what's going on and then applying that belief system, that narrative, to the situation, thinking we're in control now because we understand what's happening and therefore I'm taking these actions, and then we're trying to monitor whether we got it right, whether things are improving, etc. We don't even know what improvement is. Right? Zena said, while we are chatting about work and earning money, last 3 years since moving back to Australia really been challenging. Really been challenging. It's challenging. Holy shit, I've got to find this down here, Zena, because I'm not going to be able to read that up there. Let me do a refresh. I am running out of time too, but I will quickly try and read through this and speak to it. I just did a refresh, but it didn't do what I wanted to. Home. Find the live stream. Come on. Okay. Right, Zena. While we're chatting about work and earning money, the last 3 years since moving back to Australia has really been challenging. Connecting to sustainable income and finding supportive work. Have been doing employee-based casual work, starting my own small business and various initiatives, but they have all barely covered my living expenses and feel a bit off, like I'm band-aiding my income situation rather than aligning with the right work. I moved back to Australia to support my mum's declining health situation, and much of my leotard decisions, I'm not quite sure if that's the right word, have been based around her needs. But since COVID, it's been hard to fill my role in care as being vaccine free, has been preventing me from seeing her, and been in conflict and struggle with current care home while trying to move her to a new facility with less strict visiting requirements. Maybe time for a longer chat, book an appointment with you. Yeah, potentially, Zena. I know it's hard, but the basic recommendation is to relax into trusting and focus your attention on where you're going, right? Without getting too caught up with band-aids. It's okay. You don't have to say sorry for the autocorrect changing your word. I didn't know leotard was was a word that autocorrect would find because I have no idea what it is. Maybe I need to look it up. But anyway, yeah, it is difficult to come back into alignment with where you're going when you get so caught up with dealing with the challenges that are in our space. This is the problem. We become challenge focused, problem centric. What we focus on is what we feed, and what we feed grows stronger. It's not easy to overcome that. It really is not. I know I struggle. Jill wrote, I'm choosing to eat even more healthy now, but it's so hard to drop into accepting without understanding. Sheena said, Jill, I can relate to your challenge. I moved from Norwich to New Zealand and had many house sales up and down this journey. It was around the time 1987 stock market crash too, having survived several house moves since. Yeah. Is that really what they're called? Leotards? Oh, leotard. Right, I just pronounced it wrong. I do know what a leotard is. Yeah, but I'm just dyslexic, and yeah, leotards are exercise routine for gymnastics and ballet, etc. I just had no idea that's how you spell leotard. It seems like someone who is overly Leo to me, right? As in the star sign Leo, a leotard. I could apply it to my son. He's a bit of a leotard. But anyway, that's just where my mind goes. Anyway, it's good that we can laugh, right? It's good that I can laugh. Laughter is really good medicine. Anyway, my friends, I'm trying not to let these chat with Matts go for quote unquote too long. And I have apologies to all the Leos out there who are now feeling like tards. Now I'm interested in what the original word was, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Much love. I'm going to end this here. Ultimately, my friends, stay focused on where you are going and hold space for what you're currently experiencing. Don't give in to what you're currently experiencing, but don't fight it either. Be neutral to the experience. Remember that what you are experiencing is a representation of what you are releasing, what you are healing, what you are moving through. Hold space for that process without needing to understand it. Just be accepting. Oh, I'm feeling really shitty today. Obviously, that's what I'm releasing. You don't need to fix feeling shitty. Although you might choose to go, oh, I'm feeling really shitty. That must be what I'm releasing. What should I do now? Oh, I'm going to go for a walk, or I've got to go to work, but I'm going to have a coffee on the way, or whatever it is that helps, right? Okay, I just need to take the word out, do I, Zena? Anyway. I'm not going to go back over that. But anyway, that's the advice, my friends. Much love. I'll be back to see you. Leotard is a good Scrabble word. Especially if you've got a couple of vowels hanging around, 3 of them in there. Anyway, much love to you all. Keep your chins up. Keep laughing. We are just sort of finishing off this sort of old endings, new beginnings, new moon. Remember that January is likely to be a little bit choppy. Don't use that as a belief system that makes your whole month shitty. Not about that at all. It's just about helping you to find a relationship with the current experience where you don't make it wrong. That you're wanting to start a new year, wanting to start a new chapter, and it seems like you're dealing with a lot of old stuff, right? Don't make that wrong. That is a necessary part of the equation. Keep focusing on the new chapter that you're beginning while holding space for old stuff to keep coming up, to die, to be released, to be processed, to be healed, right? That's the process generally. I'll be back next week. Talk to you then. If you didn't get to listen to the call from 2 days ago, I'd encourage you to do that. It is just down this feed a little bit further. You will find the link to that instant teleseminar, 40-minute odd call, light language session to help you make the most of moving into this new year and do exactly what I just described. Hold space for what you're releasing while focusing on what you're creating. Much love to you, my friends. Bye for now.